Hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you can hear me okay. My name's Gareth Jones. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened with the screen then. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay. There we go. I'm just going to change the screen now. There we go. Yes, top rail holidays, iconic rail journeys. Forgive me. I hope you can all see the screen and hear me okay. If you wouldn't mind, on the control bar on the right-hand side, there's a little area that says questions. If you wouldn't mind just popping a little note in there with your name saying hello, let me know where you're tuning in from, and just let me know that you can hear me is the main thing. I've had some horrible experiences in the past of just wittering away to myself for a good 10-15 minutes until a kind soul might ask if they'd be able to hear something. So just to make sure you can all hear me okay, it'd be great to hear from you. We've had people tuning in from the USA early this afternoon. Australia was tuning in this morning as well. I said everything seems to be up and running perfectly fine my end, but it'd be great to get confirmation of that where you are. I'm in York myself. It's been quite a sunny day, but it's certainly autumn now. I have the woolly hat and gloves on over the weekend. Wonderful, thank you very much. Thank you, Bob. It's great to hear from you, and Tessa. Thank you ever so much. Lovely to hear from you. Well, great. Let's carry on, shall we? That's me, Gareth Jones. I'm the product manager of Railbookers. It's a funny photo of mine. I was ashamed of that, but it's my responsibility, these holiday packages, also to keep all our partners updated. Normally out and about on the trains, normally traveling a lot more than I have been this year, in all honesty. Let's start with the flash sale we've got at the moment. Forgive me, all the slides coming thick and fast at the moment. The flash sale, great. So just quickly to touch on this, any bookings made from now until the end of the week will be covered by this. Great offer. So Vienna, Scotland or Switzerland, so 4 nights or more in any of those destinations, you will save £300 per couple. If you're traveling on your own, don't worry, you still save £150. If you're to travel to Italy for 7 nights or more, so £400 per couple, or £500 per couple if you take the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains holiday that we'll have a look at shortly. If you're familiar with Railbookers, forgive me, you're probably already aware of all this, but if you're new to Railbookers, I think it's good to go over just in terms of who we are, what we do, okay? So from 2 days to 2 years, our holidays go anytime, any day, anywhere they do. We guarantee holiday prices into September 2022 at this stage. Very small deposit, books your hotel, books all your travel for you. There's no change in the cost, and your final payment isn't due until 3 months prior to the trip. On the flip side of that, obviously our options are fairly limited at this moment, but who knows in the next few months if things start looking a little brighter. And we're able to get everything booked, confirmed, and all of the travel documentation to you within 2 days before departure. So very, very soon before departure. All of our itineraries are customizable. You can chop and change any of the holiday packages we're going to discuss today and any of the holiday packages you see on our website. You can add nights on, take nights away, add new destinations in. We have a fine selection of hotels and all the major destinations that you can choose from 3-star up to 5-star hotels. Bucket list experiences to special occasions. Of course, we're going to look at some iconic trains today. We're going to look at the Venice Simple and Orient Express at one point as well, but not just that. Even if you're looking to stay in a tiny little hotel at the top of a mountain for 1 night, for example, we have those special experiences. A private tour at the Alhambra Palace in Granada, for example. Really special services, special experiences for special occasions. Independent holidays with freedom and flexibility. We're not a group operator, so want to bear that in mind, that it's just yourselves traveling. You of course have to abide by when your trains are booked for, the times of your trains and the dates of your hotels and any tours you book, but that's it. You get to choose where you go for dinner, up to your own devices. You enjoy your holiday, it's your time. And we of course are APTA and ATOL protected. Now, we've got the maximum flexibility offer in place up until the end of this year. It essentially means that you can change travel dates or postpone your trip until 5 days prior to departure. Quite good in these uncertain times. So any booking made from now until the end of the year, even if you're traveling next year, for example, so if there are any sort of any restraints that come into place in terms of where we're able to travel to, etc., there's no charge from us in terms of traveling your date. You're changing your date of travel up to 5 days prior. Okay. Also, something to note on the security side of things as well, which I think is really important, is wherever you are in the world on a Railbookers holiday, you'll have an emergency number to call, and then with the staff who can help you. Everyone's working from home in the entire company right now, which is very interesting when you've got a couple of people who live on boats and they're having a whale of a time working from home. But normally, in the normal world, we have an office in London, Beverly, just north of Boston, Toronto, Laguna Hills, just south of Los Angeles, and Sydney, Australia. So, as I said, anywhere, if you're anywhere in the world, whatever time it is, don't worry, you can call this number and be assisted by any of my colleagues who can access exactly the same details in the same system. On the control bar on the right-hand side where you found the questions there, there's also a little area that says handouts. Please open there, because in there's this great map for you to click on, download, print off, save for free. It's quite a nice thing to kind of stick on your fridge in the kitchen perhaps and plot your holiday. All those different kind of lines are different rail operators, scenic lines. We're best placed, we know the most scenic routes, we know the best places to stop over if you need to stop over. We take the mystery out of rail travel, we really do. We're a direct partner of all these and other rail operators around the world. We have access to their fares available to the public and access to the train seats before they're made available to the public as well. Now let's just touch on what travelling by train looks like in Europe at the moment. Of course, nearly all train operators are requiring facial coverings in stations and on trains for passengers and staff. It's food and drink as well. It depends where you are, really. In Germany and to the east, then they're still serving food and things. Buffet cars are open. France and Italy, they are closed, so you can't get a cup of coffee. But here it's important to note, I'm sure you're all familiar with, this is where train travel stands out from flying. There's not the restrictions in terms of what you take on board as there would be with an aeroplane. You can take a picnic with you. The Marks and Spencer's is open opposite the Eurostar terminal at St Pancras now. Pop in there, get some sandwiches, maybe even a bottle of wine, for example. Not the easiest thing, having a sandwich and a glass of wine whilst wearing a mask, but you can do it surreptitiously, on the sly, and then who knows? Once the restrictions are lowered in the not too distant future, perhaps you can still enjoy a fine picnic on board the train. Changing seat configuration and allocation on board to allow for social distancing. It depends where you are again. So in France, for example, they're allowed to run the trains. The unions have so much power to convince the government to allow them to run the trains at 100% capacity if they wish to. In Italy and elsewhere, they're still running at sort of 50–60% capacity. So some seats you can't occupy. What they do all have as well is a one-way system. So one end of the carriage is the door where everyone gets on the train, and the other end of the carriage is the door. Of course, increased cleaning and sanitation, cleaners on board the train throughout the journey, making sure that everything is clean and sanitized, and contactless ticket control. We're getting used to this world of having a barcode on your phone or tablet, which a guy on the train will scan. But don't worry, we can of course provide you with a printout confirmation if you don't have the mobile phone capabilities. You're able to do that. It's still allowed. Should we have a look at some holidays? Right, starting closest home than normal, Grand Inverness and the Highlands via the Caledonia Sleeper. Scotland has become very popular this year. You can understand why. It's amazing. On a doorstep, such amazing scenery, beautiful journeys we have up there as well. It starts and ends in London, but again, that flexible side of things, wherever you are in the UK, you don't have to come to London to do it. We can just get you there from your local station. The fun thing about coming to London, though, is you get to enjoy the Caledonia Sleeper, club class as well, all the way up to Inverness. It's a new train as of last year. 4 nights in Inverness. Base yourself there, and then you've got a couple of great day trips out to the Isle of Skye and on Donna Castle, and also to Loch Ness and all that fun. And then you're taking the daytime train back. 5 nights in total, £550 per person. Now, the package costs always include the train travel reservations that are necessary for any trains, hotel accommodation with breakfast, and any tours that are mentioned as well. There you go. Obviously, some of these images everyone would just be so familiar with. from the UK, but you just forget it really is just a train journey away. You don't have to cross the sea to cross a border to get there. It's wonderful. And the Caledonia Sleeper. As I said, it was a new train last year, a new renovated, a new rolling stock. Had its problems, teething problems. There's a lot of new train do really in terms of delays, etc. But they've really ironed those problems out, sorted it out. It's a wonderful train. It's very modern on board. The club class, you get breakfast included. It's delivered to your cabin if you wish. Social distancing, you've got to worry about it. You've got your own private cabin, you're not sharing with anybody. The catering is brilliant on board, and the scenery when you wake up in the morning is lovely as well. Also, though, you've got Edinburgh, the Jacobite. So train up to Edinburgh, 2 nights direct train there. Like this sleep train again. 2 nights in Edinburgh, up to Fort William for 2 nights, and then the sleeper back down as well. So 6 days in total, just over £1,000 per person. That's with the train travel, the accommodation, 2 nights, and the return journey on the Jacobite train, also known as the Harry Potter Express. Steam train famous in Harry Potter, but probably the most scenic and beautiful train journey in the UK, I would say. And quite a classic sort of style service, but wonderful. And of course, Fort William, such romanticism with the Fort William as well in the shadows of Venice. Next, something a little further afield, the Caledonia Express and Venice Simple and Orient Express to Venice. So combining 2 absolutely legendary train journeys. Here as well, you've got the saving, £300 per couple in the flash sale. The Venice Simple and Orient Express, VSOE, southbound from London to Venice, all the way there, overnight journey. It's amazing. Leave London around about 10 in the morning, get to Venice about 5:30 the following day. 3 nights in Venice. Here you get a walking tour of Venice with the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica. Absolute essential visits if you're going to visit Venice. I would say the whole of Venice is breathtaking itself, but to get a true understanding of the Venetian Republic and its riches and its heyday, the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica are a must. It's a great way of experiencing it. And then a journey from Venice to Milan, high-speed train, Milan to Tirano. And then tidy place to Tirano, northbound on the Caledonia Express to San Moritz for 2 nights by the lake. Very pretty setting. And then direct train up to Zurich Airport for a flight back. If you'd rather not fly back, no, the flight is to any UK airport, not just to London. If you don't want to fly back, no problem at all. There's a direct train from Zurich to Paris and Paris to London easy. Great thing I must say about flying into and out of Switzerland is the airport is so well connected. There's a very big train station at Zurich Airport. Arriving there by train, you just literally go upstairs and you're in departures. You're there. It's very, very well organised. You can get anywhere throughout the whole of Switzerland on the Swiss rail network from Zurich and Geneva Airport. But the Caledonia Express, often at the top of many people's lists in terms of the most scenic train journeys in the world. So it's there for me. I met my wife on this train about 15 years ago now, so I can't say it's not really. But it's beautiful. The setting there, it gives you an idea of the sort of the landscape you're passing through. Some of the highest peaks in Switzerland, crystal clear alpine lakes. The insert image shows you on board. That's first class on board, so 2 seats on one side and 1 seat on another. You see the panoramic windows, so you get to enjoy the full view, looking around. You understand the actual sort of the scale of some of the mountains you're passing through. The train in the main image, that's just one of the regular trains that runs the route. So the normal train run the route, and the panoramic Caledonia Express trains run the route. We always include the Caledonia Express train. That's where you get a seat reservation on, and that's where you get the panoramic windows. The regular trains, they're not as comfortable. You don't get the panoramic windows. Okay. But the journey, as we have it on this holiday with the VSOE, you can do it in either direction. There is another holiday where you take the Caledonia Express southbound and the VSOE back. But on this particular one, you're traveling from Tirano, heading north, and you're coming through this palm tree lined valley, and then gradually climbing up, and some of the highest peaks, most dramatic peaks in the Swiss Alps. And it looks very much like a little toy town, these tiny little villages dotted down this valley. The Brusio Viaduct, which is this, it's like a corkscrew, 360 degrees, the train drops down and goes through. If it went at any speed, it would be a roller coaster, but it doesn't. It's very gentle. Goes over the Landwasser Viaduct, huge, great viaduct over a very, very kind of narrow gorge, comes out of the mountain through a tunnel over this viaduct and then carries along. Really breathtaking in parts, it really is. It's a really great journey. It runs throughout the year, so there's no sort of seasonality. But as I said, you can take the normal train, but taking the Bernina Express train with the panoramic windows, it's certainly worthwhile. But the Venice Simplon Orient Express, probably the most famous train in the world, I'd say, and a very different experience to any other trains. It's very much about the actual train itself, really, rather than just the scenery or the off-board experiences. It's the actual train that makes it. You start in London, of course, you do London Victoria, check your bags in. The British Pullman then carries you to the coast. On board there, you've got a 3-course lunch, champagne-filled lunch, etc., all included. A quick coach transfer through the channel to Calais, and that's where you're welcome to the Untitled Express proper. That's the Grand Express Europeans train there, the big famous blue train. And all the staff are lined up outside in their liveries, a big brass band that welcomes everyone on board. And there on board, the steward will show you to your cabin, and that's where you'll find your bags. So it's all taken care of. 2 seatings for dinner. First one is the most popular, 7:30. That's because you're sat down enjoying dinner as you're coming through Paris, and you get a lovely, very romantic view of Sacré-Cœur all lit up. It's very pretty, and it really adds to the experience as well. So bottom left image there, that's the British Pullman. That's what it's like. There's very big, comfy armchairs. And the pianist and the bar car. So at the moment, social distancing, the bar car is not open. It's quite compact in there. It's the heart of the train. But what they have done is they've opened the restaurant cars during the daytime. Normally the restaurant cars are just to sit in when you're eating dinner and that's it. They've opened the restaurant cars as day cars, which is great, I think, because the restaurant cars, each of them is very different. It's the Côte d'Azur car, the L'Oriental car, which has got the famous black lacquer panels. The glass, but they're each individual in terms of their personality. So the craftsmanship in each of them are very, very different. And you only generally, in the normal inverted commas, normal world, I get to enjoy that during dinner. So it's great to spend a bit of additional time in there as you do now. And you still get to sort of have cocktails delivered to your table and enjoy socializing, etc. But the food, as I'm sure you'd imagine, is second to none. It's absolutely breathtaking what they're able to produce on board in the confines of the kitchen facilities. And then the cabins. So when you go for dinner, the steward will change the setup of your cabin from seating. You can kind of get a glimpse of that on the top right-hand image, sorry, into the sleeping setup, which is very comfortable, kind of. I'm going to get my little arrow here now. So seating here, and then turns into the sleeping here. Now this bit here is beautiful paneling here, this little corner. See there's a lock there. You turn that lock and you open it, and that's this here, this wash basin, which is great. So every twin cabin gets a wash basin. You can plug your hairdryer in, shaver if you need to. There's fresh towels and things. There's a toilet at the end of every carriage here, so there's no ensuite facilities in the twin. There are a couple of the grand suites which do have ensuite facilities and double beds as well, rather than the bunk beds or the upper and lower berth. And also just next to here, this side here, is this door. Now this door is normally locked, so don't worry about it. But if you get a twin cabin suite, then you can get 2 cabins with the door open, so you've got a separate seating and a separate sleeping area altogether. Obviously, beautiful, good window view. It's lovely. You get a lovely night's sleep. You do get rocked to sleep. In the morning, the steward is telling what time you want waking up. He'll bring you tea and coffee and breakfast to your cabin. Then the train will come into Innsbruck around about sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. You can get off here at the station, have a wander around. It's beautiful to get a quite big breath of fresh alpine air. You see the surrounding mountains around you. Really pretty. So it's refreshing just to stretch your legs off the train. But you get a 3-course lunch as you're coming through the Brenner Pass into Italy, and then when you get to Venice, you get a boat transfer as well to your hotel as well, so they take care of you all the way through. And it is quite a compact train, of course it is. That's just the historical nature of the train, but it is second to none in terms of train experience. It really is something very, very special indeed. And it's very popular next year already. A lot of people are looking to do something very special next year. So now is the time to get in there and kind of get your space booked, because it's going to sell out very quickly next year. Now, so that was getting to Italy via the Venice Orient Express. And of course, we looked at the Viaduct Express. You can take the Venice Express north or south into Italy, but Venice, Florence and Rome is a different route as well. This is via the Simplon Pass. Get rid of that arrow because that's annoying me. Sorry. Yeah, the Simplon Pass, which is a very historic route from Switzerland into Italy. Here you're combining Venice, Florence and Rome, 3 of the most popular, most beautiful destinations in their own right, via this beautiful scenic journey. So London, Paris, Paris to Geneva, direct high-speed TGV through the Jura Mountains, gets into Geneva around about 6:45. Hotel just over the road, 4-star corner bin, very convenient. Drop your bags off. You'll be down by the lake in Geneva Old Town by 7:30 that evening, enjoying dinner. Lovely setting. My favourite, well, my favourite, a bit of a cliche, but so many towns and cities in Switzerland do have lovely old towns, cobbled streets, narrow cobbled streets. But Geneva, I think, internationally gets a bit of a bad rep for being just a business-orientated city, but it has got a gorgeous old town down by the lake. Anyway, the following morning, that hotel just over the road from the station really works because it's early starts, about 8 o'clock in the morning, direct train through to Venice, 2 nights Venice, 2 nights Florence, 2 nights Rome, sightseeing experiences, including all 3 of them, and then a flight back from Rome to the UK for that price, £1,250 per person. If you wanted to take the train back, if you don't really want to avoid flying, understood, absolutely. Turin's a lovely place to stop off on the way back. It makes nice, convenient timing, and it's somewhere very different. It's a lot smaller than Rome, very easy to enjoy an afternoon there, quite a foodie hub. Some good art galleries there as well. The Simplon Pass, though, historically it's where the Venice Simplon Orient Express got the Simplon bit from. This is the old route it used to take, still takes it northbound, but you can imagine you go from the skirt around Lake Geneva and then through some of the beautiful sort of lower Valais area of Switzerland, through some of the most beautiful mountainous scenery. And then you start skirting around Lake Maggiore. There you go. So these are photos actually from the train journey as well. See how close you get to the lake here. It's Isle Martere, I think it is, a Hotel de Borromedes on Lake Maggiore. You know, it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty indeed. Now that train obviously passes through Milan. So we've got a lot of other holidays, not just Venice, Florence and Rome, which will be called via the Alps. So we have Sicily via the Alps, Amalfi Coast via the Alps, Rome via the Alps, Florence via the Alps, Cinque Terre via the Alps. Via the Alps is taking that Simplon Pass train to Milan, changing trains in Milan, and off you go. Milan's very much the gateway to Italy. You can get a train from there pretty much everywhere, so it's so convenient. But there's such Venice, Florence and Rome, such an easy combination, such a wonderful combination, because they're so easy to get between the 3 of them, but they're so different from one another as well, just in terms of what they offer. The beauty, the sheer beauty and unique city that is Venice, and then the home of the Renaissance, Florence, and then the eternal city of Rome. They've just got so much to offer, such rich art, amazing food, and decent wine as well. But no, and the sightseeing experiences here are fantastic as well. Great ways to get around. You have some of the locals showing you some of the hotspots as well. Back to Switzerland now, and Switzerland's Lakes and Mountains is our most popular Swiss holiday, and rightly so. It's tour de force. It's got the 3 big hitters of the scenic train journeys in Switzerland. Bernina Express we've seen already, the Golden Pass and the Glacier Express. You've got the Jungfrau Mountain Railway excursion from Interlaken, You have a night in Montreux, beautiful, love Montreux. You've got the Vaux vineyards just next door to it, very pretty UNESCO heritage state vineyards. Russia's Dunay mountain railway going up to the top, great views across the lake. Chillon Castle, 15-minute walk around the side of the lake, so beautiful. Here, the price, just under £1,500 per person, flight in and flight out. But if you want to take the train, so you're looking about £1,250, £300 per person. But again, because this is 6 days, 5 months more, you've got £300 per couple saving on it. So the Jungfrau's day trip out of Interlaken. The Jungfrau is a mountain, part of the Swiss skyline, which is the Monch, the Eiger, and the Jungfrau. Jungfrau Joch is at the top, looks like a big observatory. The day trip is 3 train journeys up the mountain and 3 train journeys down the mountain. Each train journey becomes steeper and steeper until the final one is actually passing through the Eiger, north face of the Eiger. The train stops and you look out some windows through the actual kind of tunnel itself, looking down, deep down into the valley. Breathtaking in parts, it really is, particularly if you pass through, as you pass through Lauterbrunnen and get a huge, great waterfall coming down. And then you get to the top and you've got the Altische Glacier right in front of you, the biggest glacier in Europe. You can see as far as France and Germany and Italy on a clear day. It's beautiful. It's where you're guaranteed to have ice and snow up there all year round, so it's a lot cooler than when you start on the journey in Interlaken. It's an amazing train journey. It's an amazing day trip. It really is. And in December, what's quite exciting is they're going to be opening a new cable car for one of the lines as well. So you've got the option between taking the train or coming down quicker via cable car. It's all enclosed, very safe. But it's quite dramatic, but it's really, really exciting as well. Great fun. It's going to speed it up as well. But yeah, truly great day trip. Once in a lifetime experience, it really is. But we've also got the Glacier Express on this package, on this holiday as well. Now, probably the most famous of the scenic trains in Switzerland. These are the panoramic carriages, very much like the Bernina Express panoramic carriages. Okay, the slowest express train in the world, they call it. The full length is 8 hours from Zermatt to St. Moritz. On this particular holiday, we're just doing the 2/3 of it, a place called Brig, the scenic part of it, I'd say. We've got nearly 300 bridges, nearly 100 tunnels. The highest point is over 2,000 meters above sea level. It's amazing, it really is. The train doesn't run in November, so there's a gap between middle of October to the middle of December. It simply doesn't run. No other trains run the full route as this does. Some trains kind of run part of the route, but not all of them run the full route. You've got first class and second class. You can order freshly cooked food on board, drinks, etc. They cook it all on board. They are serving now. If you were to do all the full length, though, you've got the excellence class, which is maybe a start. Really, it's amazing. It is. It's like a Michelin-starred restaurant or a 5-star hotel on rail. Really, it's the most sought-after window seats in Switzerland. You can only take the excellence class the full length, so Zermatt, St. Moritz, or St. Moritz, Zermatt. About 22 seats in the carriage. You can see there's only 2 seats opposite one another on each side, so there's no tables for 4. 3-course top end lunch included, plus a afternoon tea, plus your own private bar, plus local wines, all included. You get an iPad. Everybody in the seats gets an iPad to tell you about the journey where you're passing through. Really special. If you're looking to celebrate a special day, you can't go better than if you're on train or traveling by train. The excellence class certainly ticks the box. As it says, you can tell by being such a small capacity, they're very, very sought after and do sell out very quickly. And then finally, the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains holiday that I mentioned originally. So save £500 per couple, £250 per person, 12 days, so 11 nights or more, just over £2,000 per person as well. Flight to Rome and a flight back from Zurich. If you want to take the train, you need an overnight on the way to Rome, but you can do Zurich back to the UK in one go. It's got everything. It's got 2 nights in Rome. You get to go to the Vatican Museum, St. Peter's Cathedral and the Sistine Chapel. The Vatican Museum is one of one of my favourite museums. Absolutely amazing. It's an early start there as well, so you beat the crowds, which is really worthwhile. Actually get some time on your own with these absolute masterpieces. Up to Stresa on Lake Maggiore for 2 nights, Como for 2 nights, night in Milan, and then the Bernina Express to St. Moritz for a night, Glacier Express to Interlaken 2 nights, to Jungfrau again, and then up to Zurich for a night before you leave. Maggiore, Stresa, beautiful. We looked at the Isle of Madre, I think it was, on the Simplon Pass, but it's got a flock of parakeets who live there wildly in the wilds. I'm sure they do live wildly, forgive me. In the wilds, beautiful setting as well. Some beautiful hotels here. It always surprised me that Maggiore is the second biggest Italian lake. I always thought that was Como. Garda first, then Maggiore. Some amazing historic palazzos and villas as well overlooking the lake. And Como itself, so Old Town Como. It's got a history in fabrics, which I didn't realise, silk production. And the great funicular going up to Brunate, little town on the hillside next door, to get some great views across the lake. And of course, regular boat trips on the lake itself are up to Bellagio if you wanted to go up there. Swimming, not really in Lake Como, and it's fairly deep pretty quickly, and plus it's quite mossy. It's not polluted or anything like that, but it's not particularly easy. If you wanted to do a bit of lake swimming, Garda's your best bet. There's a few beaches around, smaller destinations around the coast from Sirmione and things. You can. Well, I hope that's whetted the appetite a little bit. I really do. Where do you want to plan your next holiday to? Let me know what your thoughts are. If any of those places took your fancy, let me know. If you've been to any of those places before, experienced any of those things, let me know your thoughts. Really hope you enjoyed them. If you haven't before, have a look at the website, railbookers.co.uk. Destinations is a good place, over 3,000 different destinations. We feature holidays. Holiday types is great to get some ideas. You've got scenic trains, sleeper trains, luxury trains, blue trains, red trains, all sorts of trains. Just if you need a bit of inspiration, there's lots of ideas there. And of course, it's always worth having a look at special offers. If you've enjoyed this webinar, we've got next week, there's a really interesting one, Life on Board Sleeper Train. So there's a bit of a revolution in Europe at the moment being led by Austrian Rail and Swiss Rail, Switzerland's, with sleeper trains coming back into fashion, which is great to see. A few years ago, a lot of rail operators withdrew them because they weren't making any money, but people are seeing sense now bringing them back. So that's going to be a really exciting webinar next week. The following week, Imperial Cities by train, Berlin, Vienna, Prague, and more. And then in 3 weeks' time, you've got Italy by train, top 5 rail holidays. Questions? What is a 3-course lunch? Good question. It's local produce as well, so it's local fish. I think you do have a bit of fish for one of the courses on the 3-course lunch in the excellence class. Don't know the specific menu. It does change from destination to departure to departure, but I do know they do have a very fine cheese board at the end of it as well. So some really nice Swiss cheeses to take advantage of. And some local wine as well, Swiss wine. Who knew? But has actually produced some fairly decent wine. They tend to keep to themselves, but it's all included in the excellence class cost, which is fantastic. Terry, great question. Yeah, there's no cost for the kind of customizing side of things. So for example, if you wanted to do all the holidays but in reverse, starting, I don't know, the last one, the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains, if you wanted to take the train from London and do it southbound, so doing Switzerland first and then Italy, absolutely no additional cost in terms of the service to change that. But yeah, it's no problem. It's easy. That's the service we provide. It's that sort of flexibility. Tracy, yeah, don't worry. I saw you popped on late. Don't worry. You will. What will happen is later on this evening or perhaps tomorrow morning, you'll all get an email, and on there there'll be a link to recording of the webinar, so you can catch up with any details that you might have missed then as well. Okay. Wonderful. Everybody, thank you very much for attending and paying attention. I really hope I've helped. I really hope you found it helpful, and I really hope you felt it was enjoyable as well. But thank you for joining me. Any questions you might have at all, please don't hesitate and give us a call, 0203 780 2222, or feel free to drop me an email, gareth.jones@railbookers.com. Keep well, everybody. Stay healthy, keep out of trouble, and yeah, take care. Bye-bye.